is your host, Chad Bauman. With me, as always, my partner, Trey. It is Sunday, April 28th, recording at 4:28 p.m. Sunday after the draft, Trey.
That it is. You know what, Chad? I'm in a great mood. I just watched the Boston Celtics beat the hell out of the Milwaukee Bucks today. I'm liking my fantasy team. Got to watch the draft this week. Getting ready for Game of Thrones tonight. I'm just in a great mood, Chad. What do you got going on?
Yeah, I can't complain. Went to the Phillies game last night. Got to see them beat the Marlins. It's no special task, but it was still a fun time. Saw Endgame on Thursday night. Going back to see it tonight after we record. It's a pretty solid weekend. Watched the draft. I think I have a pretty solid fantasy team for my first time playing in an auction league. So
yeah, so let's start there. First, we want to talk a little bit about the fantasy draft that we had. So it's a 13-team keeper league auction-style draft. Chad finally was in the draft this year. And Chad, I think the first thing we should point out is I don't think Chad will ever do a snake draft again. And if you do snake drafts, if you're one of those people that does snake drafts, I have to lose a little bit of respect for that person.
I don't know. I'm not going to say I'd never do a snake draft again.
But
it's definitely a different experience.
It's a hell of a lot better experience.
I mean, I don't know. I think they both have their merits. Snake draft, I think, is more exciting because you don't know if you're going to be able to get your guy. You have to put together the best team you can while trying to, play the odds. When can I wait to take this guy next round? Do I have to take him with this pick? I like that aspect of it. It makes me feel like an actual NFL GM. I like it.
So let's get into your team, Chad. 13-team auction team. Little bit. If there were some kept guys, what did you come away with?
You mean who?
Share
what picks did I get? You mean
share your team with the people.
So, team. First of all, I had to come up with a budget.
Yes, very difficult.
You only get like $250.
Yeah.
In cap space, so
yes.
That was tough. But I think I did pretty solid. I got Phillip Rivers as my quarterback. And second quarterback's Ben Roethlisberger. Phillip Lindsay is running back. Austin Eckler's running back. I got Julio Jones as my star wideout. Alshon Jeffrey is my wide receiver 2. Zach Ertz is my tight end. Justin Tucker is my kicker. And then other players I got DK Metcalf in the rookie draft. Elijah Holyfield. Austin Seferian-Jenkins is a backup tight end, who I just found out, by the way, has the same bye week as Ertz.
No! God, please, no! No!
So that kind of sucks.
That's brutal.
Adrian Peterson, Ito Smith, Dante Moncrief, Equanimous St. Brown, Spencer Ware, and Hunter Renfrow, which obviously Spencer Ware, I thought he was still with Kansas City, so if he doesn't get picked up by training camp, he's probably going to get cut.
I have some difficult decisions to make, Chad, because I love my team so much, but I have the entire military of running backs coming in next year, so I have some big decisions to make. I have 4 starting quarterbacks. Dwayne Haskins will be starting by week 4, 6, but we'll get into that later. Josh Allen, Andrew Luck, Deshaun Watson, the same running back group I had last year. Zeke Elliott, Dalvin Cook, James Conner, Deontay Foreman's backup. Wide receiver situation, pretty much the same as last year. Will Fuller, AJ Green, couple new guys, Deebo Samuel, Dante Pettis, Paris Campbell, tight end Evan Engram, kicker Robbie Gould. I'm going to have some tough decisions who to cut, but I'm loving my team. Loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Oh, yeah, and you spent big money on Zeke, too. $69.
$69. But the problem is I have so many guys coming in next year. I have Tua coming in. I have Cam Akers coming in. I have Stephen Carr coming in. I have J.K. Dobbins coming in. I have so many guys coming in, I don't know what to do. I have too many guys. I don't know. I got roster. I have too many guys problems. My
yeah,
team's
it must
too
be
good.
nice.
Yeah.
I feel real bad for you. Found out Elijah Holyfield,
Not drafted.
not drafted, but he signed with Carolina.
Good spot.
Yeah. Replace.
What if he's the touchdown stealer?
Well, he's going to replace Jonathan Stewart
Yes.
in that capacity.
Correct.
McCaffrey, he's not a big guy. He's a versatile guy. Gets a lot of touches, but he's not your pound the rock kind of guy. We know Holyfield's kind of slow, so maybe you just send him in there, the 5-yard line. Just get in there, rookie, and go get touchdowns.
That would be disastrous for Christian McCaffrey's fantasy stock.
I don't think so. I mean,
If
still,
Holyfield's the touchdown stealer,
McCaffrey is still going to get his touches. He's still going to catch the ball out of the backfield. He's still going to be rushing the ball.
McCaffrey had a lot of touchdowns last year, though.
True.
I think he had like 300 some fantasy points last year, which is a ton.
Yeah, he had a lot. I don't know. I got to decide who I'm. I don't have to cut anybody, but I may have to cut some people.
Well, you do. You have to cut somebody because you need free agent money.
Yeah, if I want free agent money, who says I want it though? I might
okay.
not.
Okay.
I just get like a solid team. Just saying. Just like no one gets hurt in preseason. I'm just going into the season.
You don't think anybody's going to get hurt the whole year?
Well, I mean, it happened to me last year. Nobody on my team got hurt. Could get lightning in a bottle twice.
It's not going to happen.
All right.
But no, I mean, obviously I'm cutting Spencer Ware.
I got a big decision on who I want to keep between the 4 wide receivers. Robert Foster. I really like Robert Foster. He ended the year on a tear with the Bills last year. Deebo Samuel, Dante Pettis, and Paris Campbell. I pretty much have to get rid of one. But I like all of them.
Yeah, I probably going to have to cut.
Paris Campbell with the Colts, that's money. That's a great spot.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping DK Metcalf would go to the Colts. I'm torn on him going to Seattle. Like, on one hand, it's a blessing that he has a good quarterback. Like, doesn't have to deal with, like, Mitch Trubisky or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Or Lamar Jackson. I was sweating there a couple times. Baltimore was up, and he was still on the board. My thing is just Seattle doesn't like to throw the ball. They want to run it.
Well, we can talk about this, too, a little bit. Doug Baldwin, he might be done forever. If Doug Baldwin's done, that's a great spot for DK Metcalf. He's going to be the only touchdown guy there.
Oh, this is just too good.
Yeah, he'll be number 1 there easy.
Which is great. That's a great spot.
Yeah, if Seattle ever decides to throw the ball. I was disappointed that Seattle decided not to draft any linemen. No, they got one guy, I think. They drafted one lineman.
Yeah, one, but real late.
So I was disappointed by that. Like, why even pay Russell Wilson all that money if you just don't care if he gets injured?
Well, they went deep, right? They came into the draft with 4 picks, and they came out with like 12, and then didn't use any on offensive linemen, basically.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They paid Russell Wilson a shit ton of money, and then just said, F it, who cares if he gets injured?
So that... What's up?
Yeah, they got a couple. They got like 3 wide receivers. They went defensive with a lot of their picks, but only 1 offensive lineman, a guard out of Wake Forest.
And they need about 3.
Yeah.
So this episode we're gonna get into winners and losers of the 2019 NFL Draft. But let us know what you think of our teams. Maybe we'll try to post a picture in the post somehow of our rosters. 13 teams. Let us know what you think of our teams. Before we get to the winners and losers, though, I think we should bring this up. Tyreek Hill, fucking idiot. Video or audio tape comes out that he broke his kid's arm or something. He's done, right? He's got to be done. He's done.
Yeah, he might not go to jail because I guess technically like you can't record someone without their knowledge. And I think in most states,
I don't know what the law is, but
yeah, I think most states, if you're recording someone without their knowledge, you can't use that as like evidence in court. I think legally, I'm not 100% certain, but I think that there is laws in most states about it, and that's why when you call like your bank and shit like that, they have to tell you that it's a recorded line in case anything crazy happens while you're on the phone with them. But
he's screwed.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, he's not. Even if he doesn't go to jail, he's not playing in the NFL ever again. Unless, maybe the Cowboys might sign him.
Minimum, he gets suspended the whole year. He's got it.
Yeah, probably. Because this isn't his first kind of like domestic violence thing.
No.
He had something when he was in college.
Well, that same kid, he technically beat him up because he beat up his pregnant girlfriend or whatever.
I guess, yeah. But,
unbelievable.
He's done. I don't think he's going to play in the league.
No, Cleveland might sign him.
Yeah, or the Redskins.
All right, let's get into our 2019 NFL Draft winners and losers, Chad.
Let's start with the first. You want me to go first?
Let's start with the losers first.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Who's your first loser?
This one is actually kind of close to home here. I actually have the Eagles down as one of my losers.
I agree.
I do. That being said, I do like a couple of their picks.
All right.
But overall, not very impressed with their draft. I did like the fact that they got the offensive tackle, Andre Dillard, in the first round.
That's the only one I liked.
I think that was a good move. But outside of that, and I like Sharif Miller, the defensive end out of Penn State. I thought that was a good pickup. I like that.
Yeah.
But Miles Sanders, I like him as a player. I don't think it hurt them, but in that second round, there were so many different moves they could have made that I think they blew those picks. I think one of those picks should have been used on one of the cornerbacks or to get more picks. Especially dislike the wide receiver they drafted, JJ Arcega-Whiteside. I'm not saying that he's going to be terrible or anything like that, but when I think you have DK Metcalf is still on the board there, you got to take DK Metcalf if you're going to go with receiver. I wouldn't have signed a receiver. We have like a shit ton already. So I would have taken one of the corners or traded down and then gotten a third round pick, maybe another fourth rounder or something like that. So I wasn't really impressed with their draft, and they only had like 5 picks.
I totally agree.
I think they came into the draft with like 6, so they lost a pick somewhere.
Well, they lost a pick when they moved up to take Dillard, which is fine. That's the only one I liked. But outside of that Dillard pick, to me, when you go in the second round and you had already traded a pick for Jordan Howard, you have Corey Clement on the roster, you have Wendell Smallwood on the roster, you have Josh Adams on the roster. Why the fuck are you then taking a second round pick and using it on Miles Sanders? If it was a game-changing running back, like Dalvin Cook's on the board in the second round and you can't pass it, I'm fine. This Miles Sanders is a one-year starter who has very okay production at Penn State. What are you doing? All those cornerbacks on the board. You passed on. You could have went and got Greedy Williams, Joanne Williams, or all these corners and defensive backs are sliding off the board, and you end up with a running back that you already have 5 of them. I didn't love that.
Well, I had told you that I thought what they could have done. This was before Cleveland took Greedy Williams. I was saying to you, I think they could move. They could take the 21st pick, use that to trade up, take Greedy, and then take 25 and trade down into like the 3rd round and take a linebacker because they need to replace Jordan Hicks, who left in free agency.
Let's say Philadelphia ended up in their 2nd and 4th rounds what Cleveland did. Cleveland ended up with Greedy Williams and Mack Wilson, the Alabama linebacker. If that was Philadelphia's 2nd and 4th rounds, love. But that's not what Philadelphia did. They went with another running back. Didn't understand it. That 3rd round pick, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, I literally put him in the guaranteed bust list. He's a jump ball wide receiver who's not that tall and who's not that fast. That one I didn't get.
Yeah, and again,
you're telling me he's better than Nelson Aguilar? Really?
Well,
but what was the point in that?
Well, again, that's my point. I don't care if you want to take a wide receiver. I don't get it. I would have, again, gone linebacker.
I wouldn't have went wide receiver to begin with.
I would have gone cornerback. I would have gone linebacker. I would not have gone wide receiver. But, okay, you wanted a wide receiver. I get it. Whatever. DK Metcalf is on the board.
Yeah.
Deebo Samuels was on the board, I think, still at that point.
No, I don't think he was.
Was he?
Samuel went 35 overall.
Yeah, they took Whiteside with the 25th pick.
Yeah, 25th in the 2nd round. Samuel went.
Okay. I see what you're saying now.
Samuel went to San Fran in the top of the 2nd.
Right. I get it now. But you get my point. There were better receivers on the board.
Absolutely.
So
I would have rather had Riley Ridley in round 5 and whatever taking Arcega-Whiteside in round 2. I didn't get that.
Yeah,
I didn't like Philly's draft.
That was bad.
So I'll move on to my number 1 loser, unless you have anything else to add on Philadelphia, Chad.
No, I'm done with it.
So the Oakland Raiders came into this draft, Chad, and it's a big one for the Raiders because they had just traded away Khalil Mack, something I wouldn't have done, but I defended him. I said, you know what? The Oakland Raiders already suck. You want to start over, start from scratch, build something that's sustainable? I get it. They trade Amari Cooper for a 1st round. Again, defended it. You're not in a situation you're going to win. Start over, build a sustainable winner. I got it. They come into this draft with 3 first-round picks, including the number 4 overall pick. What they came out of it, Chad, is looking like a bunch of 5-year-olds.
You suck.
If you took a 5-year-old, put a bunch of names in a hat, and said, pick out 3 names, he would have done better than the Oakland Raiders did. With the 4th pick in the draft, they go out and take Clelin Ferrell, who they might have been able to have at 25. Clelin Ferrell might be the most overrated player in this draft. He's not good. He's not good. He's just part of that Clemson defensive front where he has Dexter Lawrence and Christian Wilkins outside of him eating guys up. And he's no better than Kevin Dodd from a couple years ago, who sucks. He's no better than Shock Lawson, who is not good either and went to Buffalo. He's not athletic. He's not bendy. He's not explosive. He's just average. To come out of this draft, you pass on Ed Oliver, you pass on Josh Allen, and you come away with Clelin Ferrell as your 1st pick. That tells me you don't know what the fuck you're doing. That was insane. Let's just start with that one. What the fuck is he doing?
Well, I texted you this. You texted me before Oakland's pick, and you said, who do you think they're going to take? I think you were like, I think you said they're going to take. I think you did say that you thought they were going to take Ed Oliver, and I said no. Oakland's going to trade the pick. They're going to move down into. I thought they were going to move down to like 10 or something like that. Take one of those linemen that was on the board. You're like, no, they're not smart enough to do that. And I guess you were right.
Well, they were too smart for what I was thinking.
The Cleveland Farrell pick definitely was a reach.
Again, didn't get that one. Then at 24, they have the Khalil Mack pick. And again, I defended him. I said, look, I get it. You're not winning. You're not winning for a while. You want to pay Khalil Mack $150 million while you're still stuck? I get it. But to come out of this draft and use that Khalil Mack pick on a fucking running back is bananas. It's outrageous. Chad, they didn't just pick a running back in the first round. They picked a running back who didn't fucking start in college.
Why are you the way that you are?
Damian Harris was the starter at Alabama. New England got Damian Harris in the third round. They came out of this draft with Alabama's backup in round 1, who had 500 rushing yards last year. 500. Outrageous. That's the Khalil Mack pick? Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. Then they have the Amari Cooper pick. Again, defended him. Your team sucks. You don't want to pay a wide receiver. I get it. They came out of the fucking draft with a box safety who can't cover. That's the Amari Cooper pick. After you just paid LaMarcus Joyner $50 million, who's 5'6" and can't cover tight ends. They then used the Amari Cooper pick for a box safety who can't cover anybody. You already have LaMarcus Joyner. He's 5'6" and can't cover anybody because he's not tall enough. And then you have Carl Joseph, who you picked in the first round 3 years ago, and now he's a backup. I mean, this team has no fucking clue. Not a single clue. Not a single clue.
One pick they had that I did like, and this just could be a little bit of bias. I did like Hunter Renfrow.
You're talking about a 5th round white slot receiver. Making or breaking the draft.
I said it was one pick. Just one.
I mean, this was a disaster. Max Crosby, round 4. Who the fuck is that? Isaiah Johnson. 2 years ago, he was a wide receiver at Houston. Now he's a converted corner because he's tall. Foster Moreau, LSU. Complete trash.
Another converted wide receiver. Quentin Bell. He's a defensive end now.
This team doesn't have a fucking clue what it's doing.
Maybe they're going to convert those guys back to wide receivers.
Not a single fucking clue what it's doing. And you know what? After all those years of watching Mike Mayock on NFL Network sit there and, you know what? He sounded really smart. I actually thought he might have known what he was doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. And it's, you know what? I challenge all you people, when you watch the draft at home, I want you people to realize those Todd McShays and Mel Kiper Jr.'s, they have 50 assistants working for them. At least 50 each. Mike Mayock, he's a puppet. He's fucking clueless. And I thought he was smart, and shame on me for thinking that.
Maybe he just got bullied by Gruden.
Hey, I'm not going to be a real patient guy now.
Well, then he's smart and has no balls.
Anything else on the Raiders, Trey?
No, go ahead.
All right.
Loser number 2 for you.
Loser number 2 for me, that would be the New York Giants.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think this one's pretty obvious why they're a loser. Their first 2 picks, I think, were serious reaches. We'll start with Daniel Jones. And was it Kiper that kept defending the Giants taking him at 6? On the ESPN broadcast?
Yep.
They took a quarterback that they could have had at with their second pick 17.
No doubt.
could have easily gotten him there. And we know that because Dwayne Haskins didn't go until the Redskins picked at 15. So they took a quarterback they could have had at 17 with the 6th pick in the draft when they needed pass rushers. They needed defensive linemen, I should say. And there was... The whole thing about this draft was how great the defensive linemen are. That's been the number one story going into this draft. Oh, this year is a great defensive lineman class. I mean, how many of the top 10 picks were defensive linemen? Like 5 or 6, right?
Pretty much.
And they reach on a quarterback. And then take pick 17 and they take a defensive tackle who he can only play like first and second down. He hasn't had a pass rush since his freshman year of college. I mean, I just didn't get that. I mean, they ended up with a lot of picks overall, but I mean, none of these guys really stand out. I mean, their offensive line is still Swiss cheese. They take one guard in the 7th round. That's another thing. They could have taken that 6th pick, traded down, taken a lineman. An offensive lineman.
All right, let's just say this. If the Giants would have taken Josh Allen and Daniel Jones at 17, you would have said, God, I think Daniel Jones sucks, but Josh Allen's a star. The fact that they came out of 6 and 17, mind you, the 17 is the Odell Beckham trade. They come out of the Odell Beckham trade with a 2-down nose tackle and a quarterback who sucks. Let's think about how bad Daniel Jones is. Daniel Jones was a 0-star high school recruit. 0-star high school recruit. Chad, his last game in college was against Wake Forest. They lost 56-7.
You suck.
To Wake Forest. And he threw 150 yards passing. That was Daniel Jones' last game he played in college. I watched him at the Senior Bowl. Dave Gettleman, I'm sorry. He needs help walking down the street. There's something mentally wrong with him. He can't even speak. Did you hear him at the podium? This was Gettleman at the podium. I was in full-blown love. I love watching my quarterbacks watch at the Senior Bowl. That's literally how he sounded. There's something mentally wrong with him. I'm not even kidding.
And something I just thought about, too. Considering Drew Lock didn't go until the 2nd round when Denver picked him, they probably could have had Daniel Jones in the 2nd round.
They might have had him at 30.
But they took him in the top 10.
I'll give them this. I did like DeAndre Baker. Like that pick. I like Julian Love. Outside of that, I agree. Big losers. Big losers. Chad, do you have anything else to add on the Giants? I can't even talk about them anymore.
I just thought it was funny how Mel Kiper kept trying to justify them taking Daniel Jones there.
He used to be
they identified him as the guy they wanted and they went out and got him.
Well, Kiper actually thinks
just because
Kiper
you wanted him
good.
doesn't make it an excuse to blow the pick on him.
Kiper thinks he's good though. I don't, but
that's it for the Giants.
All right, loser number 2 for me, Eric DeCosta. I'm sorry, but this guy has no clue. He has absolutely no clue. He was supposed to be this guy that was groomed by Ozzie Newsome. He was the next hotshot GM, and this guy is fucking stupid. He goes in the offseason. He lets Terrell Suggs go. He lets C.J. Mosley go. He lets John Brown go. He lets Eric Weddle walk. He has maybe the worst offseason of any team in the NFL. He then goes to the draft. And with the first pick, he gets gun shy and takes the first receiver off the board, Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown is maybe 140 pounds. Maybe. He spent the entire year hurt with a Liz Frank injury.
Ice up, son.
Now, maybe Marquise Brown ends up good. But the fact of the matter is you have a quarterback that can't throw the ball. And their whole thing this offseason was, well, we want wide receivers who can block. Well, this 160-pound wide receiver isn't blocking. But again, fine. You want to take a receiver who's explosive? Okay. They don't have a second-round pick because they traded up with Philadelphia in that fucking stupid Lamar Jackson trade. Third round, they take a pass rusher, Jalen Ferguson, who's a total scumbag, wasn't invited to the combine, really has one move, was awful at the Senior Bowl, bull rush only, but that's supposed to be your Terrell Suggs replacement. Okay, got it. Right now, the starters are Tim Williams and Jalen Ferguson. Good luck rushing the passer. Then in round 3, they say, you know what? We need another receiver. Unbelievable. Miles Boykin, who's a total nobody, had zero production at Notre Dame. Very average combine, didn't do anything. What in the world are you doing taking another receiver? And then, round 4. You just spent all this money on Mark Ingram. You give Mark Ingram a ton of money. You got Gus Edwards, who played well. You got Kenneth Dixon. Nope, we take another running back. I mean, this fucking guy, he completely ignores the defense. The offensive line still sucks. Then he caps off the draft and he say, you know what? We have 2 quarterbacks who can't throw the ball. Let's get a third one. Trace McSorley. This guy. Trace McSorley can't throw the ball. He can't throw the ball. Penn State didn't even let him throw the ball, and he was the quarterback. But the Baltimore Ravens, if they win 5 games this year, I'll be stunned.
It's not going to happen.
This team is an absolute joke. Absolute joke, Chad.
I really don't disagree with anything. I mean, I can see the allure of picking Marquise Brown. Like you said, he's definitely a big playability guy. If he's able to come back from the injury.
Why don't you just re-sign John Brown?
Maybe they didn't want to re-sign John Brown because he fell off after Lamar Jackson took over.
What do you think is going to happen to Marquise Brown?
Not going to catch that many passes considering Lamar Jackson really can't throw the ball.
So it was John Brown's fault that he wasn't putting up numbers, right?
Well,
unbelievable.
Yeah, I didn't think the Ravens had a great draft either.
They have no linebackers. Chad, who are the starting linebackers?
They're going to convert Jalen Ferguson to linebacker.
Who are the pass rushers? Who are their pass rushers?
Well, they run a 3-4. He'll be
who are the 2 pass
rushers?
rushers?
Huh?
Who's the pass rushers right now?
They don't have any.
What a joke. What an absolute joke. All right, go ahead. Loser number 3.
All right, my last loser, I picked New Orleans. First of all, they ended up only with, I think they only had 4 or 5 picks. And to be honest with you, none of the guys they picked, they're not really that great. I mean, they came away with the center in the second round. What's his name? Eric McCoy.
I didn't mind that pick. Max Unger retired. They needed a center. Didn't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, for them, though, I mean, I guess they are kind of moving away from passing a little bit. But that center, he's more of a run blocker.
That's what the Saints want to be. They don't want to put the ball in Drew Brees' hands anymore, right?
Right. My thing is, though, you let Mark Ingram walk in the offseason, so you're probably going to end up having to throw it more than you did last year. So,
don't believe in Latavius Murray?
For me, I don't think it was I don't think he's a bad player. I don't know. I think I maybe would have gone a different direction. Because, again, I just think that, yeah, again, I know they're trying to move away from passing the ball 59 times a game and everything like that, but
I guess the point is they didn't get a lot of good players. They had about 4 players the whole draft too.
Right. The safety out of Rutgers, I'm not a fan of him.
All right, I can get loser number 3 then. Chad, do you ever believe in history repeating itself?
Yes. Happens all the time.
So, Eric Ebron was the last tight end to be selected in the top 10 of the NFL draft. Chad, what happened to Eric Ebron?
He sucked with Detroit, then had a pretty good season last year.
Enter 2019. The Detroit Lions, in the first round, select with the exact same slot, number 8, TJ Hawkinson. When the fuck does this team learn? They just had Eric Ebron. They took him with the 8th pick. He did nothing. You cut Eric Ebron, and then you say, you know what? We're going to go exact same thing. We're going to take a tight end 8. By the way, I'm not high on Hawkinson, but there's no way in hell somebody can sit there and tell me that TJ Hawkinson is the 8th best player in this draft. There's just no way. And then you're going to tell me that TJ Hawkinson is about, 50 picks better than Irv Smith? No, there's just no way. I think Irv Smith's the best tight end in the draft, but let's say I'm wrong. There's no way he's 50 picks better than Irv Smith. You can't take a tight end in the top 10. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's the next Gronk. I don't care if it's Antonio Gates. You can't pick a tight end in the top 10. It's never worked, ever. Then in the second round, they take a no-name linebacker from Hawaii that I've never heard of. I've literally been trying to study this draft for weeks. Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
I don't even know what that is.
The Lions draft. I mean, the middle round picks. Okay, they're okay. Will Harris, Austin Bryant, Amani Oruwariye, great. They basically threw the 6th and 7th round picks away. But those top 2 picks, Hawkinson and a Hawaii linebacker, just unbelievably bad. Unbelievably bad. You're telling me TJ Hawkinson's the 8th best player in the draft? There's just no way.
I don't think he's the best player in the draft, but I will say this. There was a lot of mock drafts that I saw that had him going in that area between where the Lions took him
right.
And the 15th pick.
That doesn't mean it's correct. That doesn't mean that's what people should do.
I'm not saying it means it's what they should do. I'm just saying if that's what the NFL has him valued at, then they're going to go out and they're going to take the guy in that slot.
Chad, name the first round pick, tight end, that worked out.
Zach Ertz.
It wasn't a first round pick.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Ertz was a second round pick.
Name the tight end that went in the first round that worked out.
Vernon Davis.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Vernon Davis had a good career.
Did San Francisco really get their money's worth on Vernon Davis?
Yeah, Vernon Davis was a good tight end. It wasn't his fault that Alex Smith sucked. And Vernon Davis was pretty good with the Redskins, even though they didn't draft him.
The last thing I remember Vernon Davis doing is getting cut for yelling at Mike Singletary. I mean, he was not the 4th best player in the draft.
Hey, like I said,
Eric Ebron, 1/8, cut. Who was the Kellen Winslow? Went number 7. Disaster. There are no first-round tight ends that work. It's especially top 10 tight ends. And he's not a dynamic receiving tight end. He's a good inline blocking tight end. Outrageous pick. By the way, I will be having a person from Iowa on my podcast. He emailed me, strongly, vehemently disagrees with me. So that's going to be exciting coming up.
Yeah, you did. You sent me that email. I saw it.
Coming on the podcast.
Let's call this what it is. I'm pretty sure that Matt Patricia just wants to make New England in Detroit. That's why he took the tight end in the top 10.
All right, let's get to a little bit of a happier note. Let's go with our 3 winners. Chad, who you got? Winner number 1.
Winner number 1, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, love. Couldn't agree more.
I love their draft for several reasons. First of all, they came in to this draft. They had needs at linebacker, wide receiver, tight end, and guard, or offensive line, I should say, and they hit every single one. They went out. They filled all their needs. They didn't reach on anybody. First pick, Devin Bush. They took him at 10. I love Devin Bush. I was kind of hoping that if he fell to that spot, the Eagles might be able to take him because he is a little bit smaller for a linebacker. He's only 5'11". But I can't be mad with when they picked him. Justin Lane, cornerback out of Michigan State. I liked him. I was a guy that I was hoping the Eagles might get if they traded that second pick in the second round out. Got him in the third. They took him with the 19th pick in the third round. Yeah, and I mean they pretty much had at least one pick in. They had one pick in pretty much every round, and then a few rounds they had a couple extras. So they came away with about 10 guys too.
I'm going to give the 2 things I thought of. Number 1, Pittsburgh's defense has gone down the toilet. And the number 1 reason it's gone down the toilet is because they don't have any linebackers. The second Ryan Shazier went down, that defense has become a mess. They basically got their Ryan Shazier. This is exactly what they needed. And Pittsburgh said, you know what? We're not fucking around. We're getting our guy. And that is exactly what they needed. So bravo to Pittsburgh. This is a team that never trades up, like ever. But it was a very necessary trade up. And the other one, I'm telling you this right now, as a James Conner fantasy owner, I am pissed that they drafted Benny Snell. He fits exactly what they're looking for. Big-bodied back at 240 who will lose 20 pounds and become super quick and a bruiser at the same time. Benny Snell is a good running back. They got him late in the 4th round. As a James Conner fantasy owner, I'm not happy. But nevertheless, good pick.
Yeah, it's hard to find. It's hard to find something that they didn't really do well.
Isaiah Buggs, round 6. Just telling you that right now. If he didn't go to community college, he would have been a 2nd round pick. Steal of a pick, 6th round from Alabama. Steal.
Yeah.
He had more sacks than Quentin Williams this year, by the way. At Alabama.
Love the Steelers draft. Can't be mad at it.
All right, winner number 1 for me. I'm going to go with the great people of Buffalo. Congratulations to them. To land Ed Oliver at number 9 is just the bargain of the draft. To me, that's the steal of the draft. I don't know if he's the next Ed Oliver. Or I don't know if he's the next Aaron Donald. But he's the closest thing I've seen to Aaron Donald since Aaron Donald. He was the number 1 high school recruit in the country. He's basically gotten bored since his freshman year. He just kills people. Houston had him playing out of position at nose tackle. Still killed people. He's going to be a 3 technique for Buffalo, and he's going to kill people. That's all he's going to do. So congratulations on that pick.
Oh, this is just too good.
2nd round, they just sit there, and they say, you know what? We're going to draft Cody Ford. Plug and play starter at guard. Great pick. Again, just like those first 2 picks, home runs. So let's start there. 3rd round, Devin Singletary. Not high on him. But they do need a running back. LaShawn McCoy's getting old. Their other running back's Frank Gore.
And he's like 90.
So they did really need a running back. So they did address a need. Third round, another need. Dawson Knox. They desperately needed a tight end. And this guy ran in the 4.4s at the combine. Could be a little bit of a sleeper pick there. They got another blocking tight end, Tommy Sweeney. They needed a linebacker, Joseph from Florida, who's not bad. Jaquan Johnson, safety, Miami. I like their draft a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. I'm a big fan of Jaquan Johnson. I mean, he's Miami, who happens to be my favorite college football team.
He smacks people.
Yeah, and he's a smaller guy, so you would think that he's not gonna be great at tackling, but yeah, he brings the wood. Not much of a man up kind of safety. Not really gonna cover anybody in man. But he's really good at underneath zone coverage, so.
But in the 6th round, fine. So I like their draft a lot.
Yeah, Buffalo did have a good draft. They were one. I was considering them for one of my top spots, but I chose to go in another direction.
Chad, who do you have winner number 2?
Winner number 2, because of course it is. They just can't do wrong for whatever reason, and that's why they've been winning the Super Bowl pretty much every year since Tom Brady took over in 2001 or 2002 or whatever it was. But I got my second winner as the Patriots. Again, one factor is just the sheer number of picks they came away with. I like N'Keal Harry, taking him with 32. He was one of the receivers that I had rated higher than DK Metcalf. So I think they get a good pick there. Jawan Williams out of Vanderbilt. He's a good corner. He's a big corner. He's like 6'4", I think.
Fast, too.
Yeah. And again, their picks, they took guys like all over the place. Like they filled a lot of different positions in just this one draft. Jarrett Stidham. They're going to trade him in like 2 years for a second round pick. Watch. Because that's just what he does.
The one
what
pick I
Belichick
liked
does.
a lot that you didn't mention yet, Chase Winovich. That's New England Patriot all over. That's Rob Ninkovich with long hair.
They are who we thought they were.
He's going to be a good pass rusher for them. Very, very athletic, too. He had more sack production than Rashawn Gary did at Michigan. I think he's going to be a really good player. Classic New England pick.
Yeah, you can't be mad at this. And they got a couple linemen protect Tom Brady because he's 45 and whatnot now. So if he gets hit, he's probably going to die.
Nice little running back group with Sony Michel and Damian Harris now.
Yeah, they picked him up in the 3rd round. That's right.
I agree. I will say this. I haven't liked New England's draft for a long time. This is a good draft for them. This is my favorite New England draft since they took Chandler Jones. I haven't liked New England drafts, and I think we've said this. New England's talent is not. They're not that talented. This is a good draft for them. This was an important draft for them.
Yeah.
All right, winner number 2 for me. Some teams capitalize on mistakes, Chad. So when the Giants took Daniel Jones at number 6, the Jacksonville Jaguars just sat on their ass and said, well, this guy's a little bit too good to pass on. Despite having a really good defense, we'll take Josh Allen. And it's a perfect fit.
It's all happening.
It's all happening.
It's all happening.
He slides right into that Dante Fowler role, who they traded. Gotta love that. Best pass rusher in the draft. Jacksonville will take him, who already has a great defense with Miles Jack and Telvin Smith and Calais Campbell and Jalen Ramsey. And this defense got a lot scarier today. Then in the 2nd round, they said, you know what, we'll sit on our ass again. And what do you know? They come away with the tackle, Jawan Taylor, that a lot of people thought they might take in the first round. And he's going to start right away at right tackle. So I really like those first 2 picks a lot. Third round, they grab a tight end, Josh Oliver. He's a good receiving tight end. Had a nice little combine. Third round, they also go with a little bit of a sleeper pick. Quentin Williams' brother, Quincy Williams, linebacker, Murray State. Little fast runaround guy. Fifth round, love this running back that they took out of Temple, Raquel Armstead. He runs like a son of a bitch. He's a nasty fucker. I like him a lot.
Oh yeah, I love him too. Right in my backyard.
Love that guy.
He plays
Sixth
at
round.
the Link. Well, he used to play at the Link because he went to Temple.
He's a nasty fucker. Sixth round, Gardner Minshew, backup quarterback. Seventh round, love this guy, Dontavius Russell. Really good player at Auburn. I don't know why he was there in the 7th round, but Jacksonville's draft, A+. They're scary. They're scary. They get anything out of Nick Foles, they're really, really, really good.
Yeah, I think they really did come in and they just said, yeah, we're gonna give Nick Foles no excuses.
Correct.
That tight end that you mentioned that they got in the 3rd round, he's one of those guys that's like he's not blocking. That's not at all.
But that's okay.
He probably doesn't even know how to throw a block. All he's gonna do is he's gonna be Nick Foles' Zach Ertz in Jacksonville.
They needed a weapon like that though.
I mean, they have like 1,000 running backs. Jacksonville does.
I don't think they do.
Well, they have Fournette, T.J. Yeldon.
They don't have Yeldon.
Armstead now.
Yeldon's a Bill.
Oh, they traded him, right?
No, his contract was up. He signed with the Bills in their offseason.
All right, I forgot that they didn't have T.J. Yeldon anymore. But I mean, either way, I still like Raquel Armstead. I still think
I like him a lot.
He was a good player. I mean, it's the 5th round, so why not just take a chance on it, you know? Even if they still had Yeldon. But yeah, I mean, I think they did the most by just doing nothing.
You said it best. No excuses for Nick Foles.
And I actually texted you this. They're trying to give Nick Foles Philly 2.0.
Fine. What's wrong with that?
Hey, I mean, if it gets you a Super Bowl, nothing.
All right, last winner, Chad. Who you got?
My last winner, I went with Miami. I love Miami's draft just because the combination of the picks that they got and the Josh Rosen trade. They went out. They got a starting quarterback for a 2nd-round pick, pretty much. I think Christian Wilkins, I'm sorry. Christian Wilkins, I think he was... I thought he was the best defensive lineman on Clemson's team.
I agree.
I love the linemen they got. They got Michael Dieter from Wisconsin in the 3rd round. I don't think you can ever go wrong with a Wisconsin lineman. Offensive lineman anyway. That's all they do is just run the ball. Isaiah Price out of Ohio State in the 6th round. A tackle. He's probably going to end up being a right tackle. But still. That's another one. Big Ten offensive lineman. It's hard to go wrong with those guys.
I agree. I like the Rosen trade. If you think about it, the Cardinals paid a top 10 pick for Josh Rosen. Miami trades their 2nd-round pick, collects a 2020 2nd-round pick to move down with the Saints, and then they use the Saints 2nd-round pick to trade for Josh Rosen. So they basically picked up 2 2nd-round picks. One that went to Josh Rosen and one that goes to next year's draft. Love Christian Wilkins. I think Josh Rosen could be the franchise quarterback. I mean, I like the draft. I like Miami's draft. For once, Mike Tannenbaum's not running the show, so they're doing something smart.
Yeah, and I love the fact that after they got Josh Rosen, the very first thing that they did was they got him protection.
Yep.
And took Mike
he was
Peter
beat
in
up
the third round.
He was beat up in Arizona. They said, nope, we're going to fix that.
Because you know he can't move. So.
All right, winner number 3 for me. I'm going to do a little bit of a tie. Do a quick little rundown. Won't take long. Washington, love their draft. They get their quarterback. They get Bryce Love. They get an Ohio State wide receiver. They pick up 2 offensive linemen. Bama guy, Wes Martin. Montez Sweat in the second round or in the first round, traded up for him. He's probably a top 10 pick. He slid down the board. I thought Washington did very, very well. The Jets, Quentin Williams is a killer. Ja'Kai Polite, I really like. Chuma Adoga, starting offensive lineman from USC, who Darnold knows and likes. Both of those teams, I really, really like their draft.
Yeah, and the Redskins had a ton of picks too. They had looks like maybe 10 picks.
And Bryce Love should be a good combo with Darius Geis.
Yeah, and unlike the Giants, the Redskins, they got their quarterback just fell to their lap.
Yep. So, Chad, do we have anything else on the draft?
No, but you can always go check out the video of Dwayne Haskins laughing at the Daniel Jones pick. It's always a good time. Also, did you see the video of Quentin Williams?
I did not.
He sneezes. He says "bless you" to himself and then thanks himself for saying "bless you." Did you see that video?
He looks like a serial killer. I did not see that video.
He had a nice suit. I like that.
Yeah.
The gray kind of had like the priest collar going a little bit, sort of thing.
I will be posting draft grades on all the teams. We'll do it for me, Chad.
Yeah, that'll wrap it up for us. Don't forget to give us a follow on Facebook and Twitter for the website, vendettasportsmedia.com, vendetta_media on Twitter. Check out me and Trey as well. You can follow me at lowfooted, LILFOOTED, and Trey at Trey Daubert, TREYDAUBERT. Thanks for giving us a listen, and we'll see you next week.